Hello there, dear Junior 6 students, and welcome back to a new video about Oliver Twist. Last time we spoke about the events of Chapter 3. Let me remind you of what happens in Chapter 3. Noah insults Oliver's mother, and Oliver gets really angry and attacks him. Mr. Bumble comes to Mr. Sourberry's house to speak to Oliver and says that meat is the reason why his behavior is bad. Mr. Sourberry arrives and hits Oliver. At dawn, Oliver runs away from the Sourberry's house. Okay, so today we are going to talk about what happens when Oliver runs away. First, what I want you to do is go to your reader, read chapter 4 of Oliver Twist, and on the CD you will find the tracks reading this chapter, which are track chapter 4A and chapter 4B. Now that I suppose that you have done what I told you to do, let's move to discussing the events that take place in chapter 4. Okay, on his way, Oliver passes by the workhouse and meets his friend Dick. He is one of the children working in the workhouse. He encourages Oliver to escape and try to find a better life. He blesses Oliver. So, for the first time in Oliver's sad little life, he is blessed by another person. Dick tells Oliver that the doctor says that Dick is dying. That's why he looks pale. He says goodbye to Oliver and advises him to escape somewhere far away to have a better chance in life. Oliver sees a stone that shows that London is only 70 miles away. He thinks it is the best place to go where no one can find him. He has nothing but a piece of the dry bread, an old shirt, two pairs of socks, and a penny. So Oliver has no plan where to go, but this stone gives him an idea to go to London, the capital city, where he thinks no one will find him. Sure, it will be better there for him. It would be better than the place where he gets humiliated or gets badly treated by others. Oliver keeps walking for 7 days. He gets very tired and his feet hurt. On his way, some people give him food. So he walks for 7 successive consecutive days or 7 days non-stop in a row. His feet hurt and are bleeding. Some kind people on the way give him food and tell him some kind words. Of course, he didn't experience this kindness before. Oliver sits on a doorstep. He meets a boy who is nearly his age, but he behaves like a man. This boy is surprised that Oliver has been walking for 7 days. So Oliver arrives in London, the capital city, and meets a strange boy who is Oliver's age, but his clothes and behavior are of an older age. He acts like a grown up. Oliver learns that the boy's name is Jack Dawkins. He takes Oliver to an inn. An inn means a small hotel, and buys him a meal. Then he tells Oliver that he knows a man who can offer him a place to sleep for nothing. So this boy speaks with Oliver. He tells Oliver that his name is Jack Dawkins, also known as the Artful Dodger. And of course, Oliver doesn't know why he is called the Artful Dodger. He gets Oliver a meal and takes him to an old man who will offer him a place to sleep. Jack Dawkins takes Oliver to a house where some boys and an evil looking man live. Jack introduces Oliver to this man whose name is Fagin. The boys empty Oliver's pocket, and Oliver has supper or dinner and falls asleep. So Oliver, of course, as you know, has no choice but to follow Jack. He has no food, no money, no house, nothing at all. He goes to Fagin's house, has dinner, and falls immediately asleep because he is very tired. Who do you think is this man, Fagin, and what do you think will happen to Oliver in his house? Well, we'll see about that in chapter 5. Now, what we are going to do now is that we are going to look at the important quotation mentioned in that chapter. We only have one quotation to look at in this one. Okay, now let's take a look at the important quotation we have to look at in this one. It says, I know an old gentleman who will give you a bed for nothing. You will find this one on page 16. Who do you think says this from the picture? Exactly, it's Jack Dawkins. He says this to Oliver, as you know. So Jack Dawkins says these words to Oliver Twist when he meets him in the street in London. He takes Oliver to Fagin, who leads a group of thieves. Now, we are going to see what happens to Oliver among these thieves and how will he react or how he will uh, act to while being with these thieves. Will he accept being among thieves? Will he steal with them? What happens? We'll see about that next time, inshallah. Now, I want to show you a part of the movie itself when Jack is taking Oliver to Fagin's house. Let's take a look.
Come me and Sam.
There's two of you. Who's he?
A new pal. Where'd he come from?
Greenland. Is he holding there? Upstairs sorting your house. This is him, Fagin. My new friend, Oliver Twist.
Well, Oliver Twist. I hope I have the honour of a more intimate acquaintance. We're very glad to see you, Oliver. Barry Dodger, take off the sausages and let's make a space at the table for Oliver. Ah, you're staring at pocket handkerchiefs, eh, my dear? There's a good many of them, isn't there? We just looked them out, ready for the wash. That's all, my dear. Right. Hot. Hey, right. Now then, Oliver, what you must have is a hot gin and water. Warms the cockles. Only drink it quick, because an elderly gentleman wants a tumbler. Such a nice lad. I have the feeling he'll turn out a hard worker. Yeah, hard worker.
Okay, so this brings us to the end of chapter 4. I hope that you enjoyed this chapter and you're enjoying the story until now. Next time, inshallah, we will talk about chapter 5. Until then, stay safe and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.